Welcome back to Zakima's Ridge Homestead. On today's video, we're talking homestead security, so stick around. Hello, and welcome to our channel. We're glad you're here. I don't watch the news that often because you can't really believe 100% what either side of the news is saying. So I'm not sure if it's a fact or if it's just a conspiracy rumor, whatever you want to call it. But when I heard that they were talking about going door to door to see if the peasants had allowed the monarchy to inject a experimental DNA drug into you, I said hell no. Immediately I ordered gate controls. We've been talking about putting a gate out here at the end of the driveway for a while. That was the final straw. So this video is about installing this gate. As you can see, it's already done. We go through putting the poles up, putting the gate up, putting the controls on, all the different things. So I'm obviously finished filming the beginning here at the end. So I'm not sure how the editing is going to go through the rest of this video. I'll try and keep it as short as possible. Just keep the important stuff in there. But it's taken us probably a week and a half to get all this done. It wasn't easy. Got a lot more work to do, but at least the gate is up and somewhat functional. So I hope you enjoy the video. If you do like our videos, please give us a thumbs up. Appreciate if you subscribe. But stick around. We'll show you how to install a gate to protect your homestead. Well, as usual, we went and started the project without filming. We already have the first pole in the ground. We got the auger on the back of the tractor. Went down as deep as it would go. I was going to put this on the grapple and stand it up, but the tractor didn't have enough hydraulic power, so we used the bulldozer instead. I cut that tree at about 24 foot. We're probably going to end up having a 16-foot high archway, so we'll probably be cutting like 4 foot off the top of that. When we put the other tree up on the other side over here, after we hang the gate so we know exactly where it needs to go, we'll be sure and film drilling the hole this time and how we use the dozer to stand the pole up and set it in the ground. Alright, the pole's all nice and plumb, at least as plumb as you can make a tree trunk that's got knots and twists and so forth in it. I mean, the main important part that we wanted to get as plumb as possible was this face right here, because that's where the gate's going to go. Took 4 bags of concrete to fill that hole. It is rock solid in there. And there it is. Has a ratchet strap on it on the back of the dozer. So that should solid up tonight. It's supposed to rain here shortly. Once that concrete's wet, gets wet and hardens, that pole's not going anywhere. We can get our gate hung right there and find out where we need our hole on this side. This post has been in the ground now for 2 or 3 days. The rain we were supposed to get was almost nothing, so I ended up coming out that night, poured about 5 gallons of water down here on the concrete to get it to harden up. So the post should be good and solid at this point. So we're going to get our gate mounted today. I've already measured from the bottom of the gate up to the hook, and it's roughly 6 inches. I think I want the gate about 1 foot off the driveway, mainly because of snow, so it doesn't drag if we get a heavy snow. So that would bring me 18 inches up the post. I'm going to come at ground levels here, about there, come up 18 inches here, so roughly right here should be my bottom hook. Got a 1/2 inch drill bit in the drill. Try and get this as centered on the post as possible with the driveway. Alright, let's get our hook in. I'll run this in to where the threads just disappear, which is there. We'll bring this up straight. Okay. Now let's measure between our hooks. Looks like our holes should be about 38 inches apart. Center that up. Right about here is 38 inches. So now, we'll take our level. Right about there should be our hole. Get this one drilled. Get this top hook installed. Okay, we're close. And just a hair more. Of course, we want the top hook facing down, bottom hook facing up. That's pretty doggone close, so let's go one more turn. Okay, that puts us just a hair this way, which will help keep the gate up. So now we can get our gate installed. This might be fun by myself. Okay, we got it hanging here. Nice high quality stuff. Ran my thumb across the top, caught one of the welds and just ripped my thumb wide open. And no pride in work anymore. Okay, I think I need to get something to block that gate up on the other end so I can tighten this up. Okay, I went up and grabbed a stack of 2x4s and other miscellaneous lumber. It's pretty close to being the right height there. Drive that up on there. It looks pretty nice and straight. I'm going to snug this top clamp up. Okay, also take my thumb up because of that cut. Now let me knock the wood out and we'll see how it hangs here. Well, that was a pretty bad failure. top of the gate's about an inch that way. We're pretty good level-wise, though. It seems to open okay. Not sure if that inch is going to cause an issue or not. I guess it does seem to want to go that direction. So I suppose the only way to fix that is going to be to move that bottom hook over about an inch. Yep, I don't like that at all. That's about an inch. So let me take the gate back down, move that bottom hook over, because if I move this top one over, it's going to put it kind of close to this edge. The bottom's more in the middle, so I think it'll be easier to move. So let me pull the gate off, move that bottom hook over about an inch, put the gate back up, and we'll see where we're at. Okay, when I'd taken the gate off, I went ahead and put the level back on my pins, and it's level. And I'm thinking, well, how can that be off like that when it's level? Well, I mentioned earlier the crappy welds. When I cut my thumb on the top of the gate, I looked at it, my bottom ring, instead of being welded, close so you can see, instead of being welded square like this, it's welded off to one side. So that's why the gate was sitting crooked. The bottom hook, instead of being straight on, is kicked to one side. So that was kicking the gate over. So I put the gate back on, readjusted my top ring so it's more to the front side of the gate. Now we're getting pretty level here. Okay, we're tightened up, and that's pretty doggone close. Swings open pretty nice and easy. Seems to hang there okay. In the open position, it still wants to drift just a hair open. Now it's sitting nice and straight without moving, so we should be good on the gate balance. Check it for level on the top. Nice and level on the top. I looked at the sticker on the other end of the gate. Bought this at Family Farm and Home. It's a Tartar gate, which is what most of our gates are, because they're the closest place to get them at. And shame on you, Tartar USA, for making a gate this crappy. Welds on the top that sliced my thumb open. Rings not welded square on the front of this. Doesn't say where it's made. It doesn't say made in China. It doesn't say made in USA. It just says tartarusa.com on it. So I'm pretty disappointed in this gate. And the first one I went to pick up, because they had two of these in stock, one of the braces was all bent up on it. It's not Tartar's fault, I'm sure. I'm sure it's the shipping company's fault. When you pay $150 for a gate and they try and throw one in the back of your truck that's all bent up, it's just no pride anymore. But anyway, we got this hung. Let's get the lock out of the box, stick it on the other end of the gate, and see where we need to drill our hole on the other side. Well, since we were a little sketchy on where to put this hole exactly with the lock on here, what we decided to do was go ahead and mount the gate actuator. It's kind of temporarily put in here right now. The control box and battery and solar panel are just there on the ground. Once we get the stockade fence up, we'll mount the control panel over on the fence, get a battery box, and the solar panel will mount up top up here once we get this cut to length. But we decided to go ahead and put the actuator on, and that will give us a definite spot down there for where we drill a hole. Well, we're getting ready to put our hole in over here for the other side of the gate, and I've thought about it for a couple days of how to do this. I was going to put a temporary pole there and put the gate latch on and stuff and try and center it up. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, well, if I close the gate and spray paint a line in the ground that's in line with the center line of the gate and paint one at the end of the gate, I know I need to bore my hole right there, centered on this line, up against that line, and that should give me what I need to do. So let me get set up and we'll get this hole drilled. Okay, that's pretty close to where I need to be. Let's see if we can drill a hole there. Well, obviously our driveway base material goes out into the woods a little bit, so I'll have to whittle my way down through that first. Well, here we are, 2, maybe 3 days later. I don't even know, I've lost track of time. Got a hole here. It's not as deep as I'd like it to be, but it's probably 4 times, 5 times the diameter I wish it was. You know, I showed there before when I started drilling into this, the driveway base continues over this direction. At one time, the driveway didn't used to go down the hill. It used to cut across somewhere through these woods over to the property that has that red barn, and it shared a driveway with them, cut through the field, and went up to the house. Is this where the driveway cut off? I don't know. These trees are pretty big in here. I don't think so. Driveway maybe used to be over and the growth has just encroached on it, but either way, there was driveway base over here and it went down almost to the bottom of this hole. So when I tried drilling with the auger, it was over here and then it would go over there and then it would go over there. You just couldn't get it to drill where you wanted it to drill. So we did the best we could, got it down as deep as we can get it, and it's just going to have to work. It's going to be a real pain to fill up too. But all of this pile underneath this dusty dirt is just huge chunks of driveway base size rocks. I mean, that one over there is almost the size of, almost a cantaloupe size, as is this one here. So we finally got the hole in. Time to put the pole up. I've got it laying here. I've got the dozer there and the tractor over here. What I'm going to do, I'll do it off camera because it'd be hard to film. I'm going to work this pole under the front of the bulldozer, suspend it with this chain, using the tractor to lift this end up, get it pretty well attached to the bucket so that I can curl the bucket back and stand the pole up. We'll bring the pole over here, stand it up, and then lower it down in the hole with the dozer bucket, work it around till it's where the position we need it to be, and I guess we'll kind of backfill with these rocks and pour concrete around it. So once I get the pole hooked up on the dozer there, I will go ahead and show you that. Okay, that's how I get it set up. I pick the log up with the grapple, get it as close to the bucket on the tractor as I can. Okay, I'm backwards. Dozer as I can. I've got a chain choked around it on the hook on the bucket of the dozer, and I should be able to lift and curl up with that and stand that tree right up. So let me get it moved over there to go in the hole. Well, there it is in the hole. Obviously it's leaning back. You can't see anything from the cab of that dozer. So I'm going to I'll probably pick it up again and tip the bucket down a little to kind of straighten it up. Probably pull forward a little bit. It'll be a delicate dance to get it straight and where I want it. Once it's there, like I said, I won't film that because that could take a while. Once I get it sitting where I want it sitting and pretty plumb, I will go ahead and start putting rock and concrete around the bottom. So once I get it where it needs to be, I'll put the camera back on it. Okay, it's in there. It's pretty level, like the direction towards us in a way, but it's leaning toward the driveway. I think the log itself, I think, has got a bit of a arch to it, but we're pretty doggone good right where it's at. I mean, there's where the gate closes on it. I mean, I could have a little more of a gap there. I'm going to try for it. If I can bump the bottom this way, which I might be able to get a little bit out of it. If I can get the bottom of this log over another inch or so, I can probably square it up better. We'll see how it goes. But let me try and bump that bottom over a little bit and see what we can do. What I did, I don't know if you noticed, when I first started it, I had this ratchet strap was wrapped around the bottom. That was so that the log didn't flip over, kind of kept it in a straight position. But now that it's in the hole, I've got the ratchet strap hooked to the chain that's choking the log around the back of the bucket, and I'm using that to pull it this direction because the log's leaning toward the driveway. So let me see if I can get that to bump over and square it up a little bit better, and we'll see where it falls on the gate when it's done, and then we'll get some concrete in there. Yeah, there it is, nice and pretty doggone straight. Since this hole's so big, what I've been doing is throwing a bunch of the bigger rocks down in there, then dumping a bag of concrete on it, tamping it down, and just working my way up. I can move it a little bit. The dozer was leaning on it and actually had it tipped to the left there a little bit, and I was able to push on it a few times and get it to straighten back out, you know, making that concrete jiggle and settle. Kind of debating, I don't know whether to go to the hardware store and buy more concrete, fill this up all the way, or just let it go. I've got 4 60-pound bags, an 80-pound bag, and a partial 80-pound bag, maybe a 40 pounds of it left that was in the garage. So there's quite a bit of concrete in there with the rocks all around it. Well, here's where it ended up. Post, got nice distance here. The latch fits in there about perfectly. Don't care for this being on here, it's kind of in the way of what we're doing. But probably take the bark off of here and flatten this off just a hair. Attach that on there. Get the lock attached on here. Get the wire ran over, and we'll test it out. Okay, there's a lock attached. I've got it key unlocked so it swings. You can see there's some play in the gate. When the gate stops on its own, it actually stops about here. So I need to adjust the closing to where this stops the gate tight so that can latch. So I'll go over and adjust the close limit on it so that it pushes it out a little bit more, and we'll be able to hook this up. Okay, now we'll see if it worked. You press the jog button to get in the position you want, and then you push the set button until it beeps. I didn't wait till it beeped last time, so I don't think it took my setting. But anyway, what I was saying, I want to put some kind of a fencing on the outside of this gate so you can't use it like a ladder to climb over. Possibly some barbed wire across the top and maybe a piece across the bottom, and conduit on the back, just to keep that wire neater than just zip ties. So let's see how tight it latches this time. Yep, there we go, nice and tight. Yep, that's good. Okay, it's quickly getting dark out here. Hopefully you can see this. I've got the keys out in my hand, so that's locked. I've got it hooked up. There's a red, a blue, and a black wire. You power the control box off, hook the wires up, and turn it back on. It's supposed to know it's there, so let's see if it'll open. I heard it like click, and there it clicked closed. So it's opening up. And again, everything's just piled on the ground down there. This is all temporary hookup till we get the rest of the fence up to hang all that stuff correctly. So it's all just kind of putting it up there to run right now. And we'll try closing it. And hopefully we'll hear a click when it gets close, and then a click when it locks. There's the click. And there it's locked. So that's operating properly. Well, here's where we're at this morning. Ended yesterday putting the lock there on the side post. Ended up having to change the bolts this morning as I put the wrong ones in it. There was 4 that had like an antique brass look color to them, and 2 that were galvanized. galvanized is what's supposed to go in there. The 4 that have the coating on them are for the keypad. So this morning, probably right about where I got this hole marked, I need to put a hole in the ground here to mount the keypad. I'm going to put a hole here and one right at the fence line for the fence on this side, and I think I've got about 6 holes to drill back in there. Hopefully I won't have the issues I did yesterday and last 4 days trying to drill for that post. I doubt there's going to be base back in there. Any problems I have there is probably going to be more roots than anything else. So I'll get those holes drilled. We'll mount that keypad. I'll have to cut a tree and put a post in the ground for that. And a little pile of dirt down there is where the ground driveway sensor is going to go. I did hook that up this morning and tested it. It does work. I have got the keypad partially programmed, so it does work. Thing's pretty neat. It'll hold like 40 different codes, so you can, have people give you a code they'll remember. And if you don't want them on the property anymore, you can just delete their code out and they can't get in. So it's a pretty cool little keypad. So that'll mount out there on a pole, and once I get these holes dug, we'll put the camera back on and see where we're at. Well, holes are drilled. That one, and that one all went really good. The ones over there are not very good. They might be a foot deep, maybe 2 at best. We haven't had rain in a while, and especially back there in the woods, it is just like concrete. Ground is so dry, it comes up like powder and just doesn't want to cut, and there's a lot of roots in there. So it'll work good enough for what it is. I mean, we're just going back in the woods with a fake fence kind of thing anyway, so we're good to go there. Next step is to install the automatic drive-up opener. They recommend putting it in conduit, digging a trench along the driveway. We bought this subsoiler specifically for this project. We may run power from the house, so we were just going to put a little feeder pipe on it and a spool of wire and just cut it right through the pasture, do it the easy way. I've got this old section of 1-inch PEX water line from when we ran water line out to the garage, so I'm just going to try and bury this. In theory, that will dig into the ground and draw this with it behind it. Hopefully it'll stay attached. I drilled 3 holes in the pipe and wired it on there with a piece of fence wire. So even if the wire breaks once or twice, it still should hold on there, hopefully. And as wide as this head is, it's got plenty of room to follow behind it. So hopefully it'll just bring it right with it. So we'll fire the tractor up and see if we are lucky enough to get this conduit or this water line to bury from the gate here to our hole over there. Okay, we're going to try that again. I tried it and it wouldn't, the ground was so hard that it wouldn't dig in. It just went down maybe 3 or 4 inches and just pulled the pipe across the ground. So I ended up taking the pipe off and making a cut without the pipe on there, and I dug a little bit of a hole for it to start into. So hopefully this time when I go, it's just going to suck that pipe right down in the ground and pull it right through. So let's give it another shot. And there's the sensor, all down on the ground, right up to next to the pipe. It said not to put that in plastic pipe, so it just lays where it's at. Went ahead and used that big rock that I'd pulled out for holding the pipe down, because when I came out and pulled up out of here, it kind of turned the pipe upward. So that should hold the pipe down real nice. I'll get that filled back in with dirt. I'll have to drive back and forth across this trench to get it to pack back down in there. Down on this end, come out of the ground and up, just have it ratchet strapped temporarily. And I've done a little bit of cleanup work. Went ahead and put the battery box out here, temporarily mounted the control box up there so it's not on the ground getting splashed when it rains, and ratchet strapped the solar panel up. Not where it's going to go, it'll probably go a little higher than that, but at least it gets it up off the ground again so dirt's not splashing on it. Kind of see on the side of the control box here, it's just dirt splashed on it from laying on the ground. So this will help keep things a little more organized. Still have to put conduit across the gate for the lock wire, and do some more cleanup work, you know, once the fence is up and we can mount this stuff more permanently. I did end up having to get a piece of fence wire to shove through that pipe to pull the driveway sensor in, because my fish tape's only about 25 feet long and it wouldn't make it out the other end. So that's how much pipe I had left when I got done. And I was actually able to pull this pipe back, so I only cut off just where I drilled the holes on the other end. It's loose enough in the ground you could actually move that for right now. So next step, I will drive over this and try and pack it down some, make it look a little better, and maybe cut a tree for our post so we can mount our keypad. Okay, everything is done. Thought rather than just showing it to you, I'd do a trial run here in an actual vehicle and see how things work. So we're leaving, the gate's closed, we're coming up on the magnetic sensor right about here, and the gate is opening. I do have a custom stop sign ordered that says stop, wait here for gate to open, that we'll put somewhere right in this area. And you can see we're back about 20 feet from the gate, so there's plenty of room there. So now that the gate's open, we'll go ahead and drive through the gate. And now that we're out, since it doesn't auto close, I'll close the gate, go down, turn around, and come back up, and we'll try the keypad. Yeah, I'm pretty much sitting at the bottom of the driveway right now. As you can see over here, we've got a little tote for deliveries. That's mostly there for the winter time because this driveway is so steep, so they can drop UPS or whatever there. What we're going to do when the gate closes is this flat area here. It's probably, I don't know, 30-40 feet up the driveway. We're going to put a shed type building right there, and then somewhere up in here I've got another custom stop sign order that says stop, gate ahead, no turnaround, and a no trespassing sign. And in the door of this shed will be another sign that says something about drop deliveries here. You know, it'll have a door on it, they can just go in, put the deliveries on a shelf. If it's too big, they can put it outside. But either way, all delivery drivers will just have to leave packages here and then back out of the driveway. So now let's head up top. I'll take you for the whole ride here. Up this steep driveway. I was going to do this in the truck, but I was afraid the diesel's going to be too loud. Not that this vehicle's quiet either, but it's better than the truck. And once this gate's actually operational, it will automatically close. I'm not sure what the time set will be, but you can change the time you want it to be. So we come up to the top of the driveway. Normally I would push my button to open the gate, but we're going to use the keypad today. I'm hoping this thing's not too high for cars, but all you have to do is punch in your code, and then hit the send button. And the gate opens. This also has special stuff on it. The party, you can lock the gate open basically. You can put one-time codes in here that will expire right after the code is used. There's timed codes you can put in. So if you're having a party, you can tell everyone, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, send. And that'll be in there for, Shadow's over here whining. It'll be in there as long as you have it set, and say for the weekend, and then it'll just go away. So it's got a lot of nice features on this. It runs on 2C batteries, and it's wireless. It basically programs off of one of your remote controls, and the send button becomes the same as the push button on your remote. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video and found it informative. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down below. It's a lot of work. It's not cheap, but it's secure. Maybe you should do it to your homestead as well. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.